Welcome to the IslandStats.com football show, your weekly dose of all the action from Bermuda's top football leagues. We bring you in-depth coverage of the Premier and First Division, results, highlights, analysis, and exclusive interviews. We also keep you up to date with the latest news and developments from the Bermuda Football Association. Stay tuned for the IslandStats.com football show, your one-stop shop for everything you need to know about the beautiful game in Bermuda. Now let's join the IslandStats.com football show team. And good evening and welcome to this edition of the IslandStats.com football show. I'm your host, Earl Baston. Joining me is none other than co-host Andrew Griffith. We will be joined by Garrett Punchy Dill, who should be with us shortly. Actually, he's coming on now. Good evening, Punchy. All is well?
Hey, guys. Yeah, I got a little back strain, but I'll be okay.
Okay, all right. Well, let me run down the results from this past weekend. We had on Friday night. Punchy, can you just mute your mic because we're getting feedback from your mic? And then
Can you turn it down a bit, do I?
Yeah, it's probably best. Just mute it, and then when you're ready to talk, you can unmute it.
Can you hear me now? Is that good?
Yes. Much better. Okay, so we're going to go with the results from the Premier Division. On Friday night, it was Devonshire Cougars 1, North Village Rams 1. Yesterday at Police Field, it was Young Men's Social Club 1, Paget Lions 1. And then today at Lords and St. David's, it was Crossroads 3, PHC Zebras 0. At Wellington Oval, it was St. George's Colts 3, Boulevard Blazers 0. And at Police Field, it was Devonshire Colts 1, Dandytown Hornets 3. In the First Division on Friday night, it was Vasco 2, Robin Hood 6. And then today, up at the Somerset Cricket Club, it was Somerset Trojans 2, Wolves 0. At Lords and St. David's, it was St. David's 0, Somerset Eagles 1. And at Wellington Oval, it was Hamilton Parish 0, Southampton Rangers 15. So a total of 40 goals were scored over 3 days and 9 games. 810 minutes of football. That's a goal every 20.25 minutes this weekend for fans to enjoy. Let's jump right into the Friday night affair out of Devonshire Recreation Club. North Village looking to get their season started. We know they came in off that loss to Devonshire Colts. And they're leading 1-0 in the second half. A good goal from John T. Smith, but then gave up a goal in the final. Well, it was the final kick of the game, an own goal. Punchy, give us your thoughts on just North Village, and I guess you could say what struggles they're having right now.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, it's as I said last week, I think North Village is still going through stages now of I won't use the word complacency, but I thought the other night they were totally outplayed by Devonshire by Devonshire Cougars, but they look like they're still going through trying to figure out exactly fit all the puzzles with the new guys that have come in. And I still say that they know we're playing at the level that they were playing at last year. The intensity wasn't there. They look like they're just going through the emotions a lot of times. And it's a struggle that I see with that right now, what's going on with them. And thank God, again, what we will speak about again was having a person like John Day. What a goal. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Yeah, I saw it, yeah.
Oh, yeah, what a great goal. But that's only one individual brilliant moment. I just think that they're gonna have to sit down. They have to put some. They're got a lot more work to do.
Yeah,
they have a lot more work to put all these things right that are doing wrong, and there's quite a bit wrong with the team.
Yeah.
The leadership doesn't look like they're. And Jonte come back, and Jonte is up front, but I still think at the back, we're not where we should be. Nowhere, and again in the midfield area. And we're still missing a few players, I can tell you that.
Right. Well,
But
let me get Griffey in, because Griff, wouldn't you say we have this problem a lot when we see a team wins the league and then the following year they struggle? Is it just Bermuda football, or what would you put it down to?
I think we've been saying it since the Charity Cup that with the when Jonte was old, Joy was old, until I think the New Year. If you can't score, it puts a lot of pressure on your back line. So like they were scoring, like if you score one goal a game, you're not gonna win your 18 games 1-0.
Yeah.
And then it puts pressure on your back line. So that last 10 minutes, if they're defending a one goal lead, it's gonna be frantic. And it's gonna lead to that pressure, you miss kicking or something happening with the last kick of the game and scoring another goal. But if you're up 2-0, it's not as frantic. And you can be more calm in possessions. You're not as desperate. So that if you can only score one goal a game, it's gonna put a lot of pressure on your defense. And your defense is, whether it's true or not, it's gonna make them look worse than they are, or that's who they actually are. But it's never, if you're always trying to hang on to a one goal lead or try to keep it 0-0 till you get one goal, it's gonna be difficult.
Yeah. Let me ask Punchy. I'm going to bring you back because I need to ask you, how much has the North Village defense over the start of the season with the Charity Cup to Friday night, how much has that defense changed? Or how many times has that defense changed?
well, there's a few changes at the left back after the Jaden Harvey out.
Right.
There's a few changes. There's the fellow that came from Hamilton Parish that I don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Quinn, I think his name is Quinn.
Otterbridge, yes.
Otterbridge, yeah. That center half pairing is not there. Rice, it looked like he's struggling. And at the fullback, I think at our fullback position at the right side, but we're okay. We're okay. But I just think that all in all, the back four doesn't look that safe. Doesn't look quality. That's what I'm saying. Especially in possession and they're coming out the back. I just think that that's one of the problems that Northridge have. That's one of them. I was expecting a little bit more for some of the players that came over that have now been, they're not in the lineup. But for me, they're still just struggling. That back four is really struggling.
Yeah, Griff. When you look at a team like Village, but then they're up against a team like Devonshire Cougars, who, those two teams have rivaled each other for some time. Cougars always seem to get up to play a team like North Village, but they seem to put together, as Punchy said, they outplayed Village the other night, but got the reward the last kick of the game. Do you think it was what they deserved, or do you think they probably deserved more?
No, it seems a fair result, but I'm not really as down on the back line as Punchy. I think they do look okay. They look similar to last year, and they have the moments. They play the ball out of the back well. They move it around. They're Thursday. They can play a lot of those long balls, but it's just lapses. You have one little or two little lapses. Bam, bam. Happened in Charity Cup. It happened against Colts. It's just there's little lapses. That's one moment. You can play like 85 minutes of good football. Two little lapses, bam, it's 2 goals. So teams like those small differences in the Premier League, and they will sink you. Look at the game yesterday, the Liverpool and Chelsea. That was a good game. It deserved to be a draw. One little lapse at the end, bam, goal. So it's the small differences that can make a big difference.
Well, I want to say congratulations to because in the end it would look like a draw. I mean, a win for Devonshire Cougars to get a goal so late and come away with a point at home. So for them, it will be a good weekend. They probably wanted more, could have had more, but as you said, a draw, fair result. Then we turn around and we look at yesterday's match between Young Men Social Club and Paget at Police Field. No goals in the first half. Social Club would take the lead with Zico Lewis scoring a penalty. And then like 10 minutes later, Paget got an equalizer from a corner, a good header. But looking at the two teams, I'll start with you this time, Griff. Looking at, we probably expected a little more from Paget, but were you surprised by the result of what Social Club was able to get out of the game?
Yeah, because it's looking like when we saw it in the preseason and early stages that Social Club will be the team that most teams are looking to get 3 points off of. Mm-hmm. So looking at what Paget has done and what they've done in the last few seasons, and they got a good draw in week 1. So you would have thought that Paget would have won this game, but that's not the case. So I'm wondering, is it that Zico is gonna pull everybody along with him, and that's what's gonna help sort of straighten our Social Club season, or will that not be enough?
Yeah, it's going to be a long season if he's going to have to do that by himself. But Punchy, let's jump to you, because obviously you've seen both teams play. But give us your assessment of Social Club. They lost to Dandy Town last week 2-1, but they get a draw this week against a team that like Paget. Paget's probably still licking their wounds from losing, 2-1 in the last minute after missing a penalty last week to Crossroads.
Yeah, well, like I said last week on the show about Social Club, they were last week on Devonshire Rec. They were out of that game. They were second fiddle in terms of possession, right? But they had some clear-cut chances. And you know what was also very noticeable, and I applaud them? Zico just goes and plays, they just, they missed those chances. They were applauding. They weren't cussing each other off. I was really surprised. Wow. And very glad for them that even when they had created those chances and they missed, clear-cut chances. Trust me, guys, I saw it. And I was like, wow. But they stayed calm. And I think Zico adds a lot of calmness to him. He just goes about, you could see his quality. Oh my God, you could see his quality above everyone else there. But their camaraderie looks like that's gonna bring them through. Yeah. And as I said, like last year, the work rate, they just never stop. They don't give up. And even when they were down 2-0 old Devonshire Rec, they still look like that score could have been. I tell you, it could have been 2-2. But I think that's going to be Social Club. Anyone who thinks that Social Club is going to be a walkover, because of the drubbing they got on the first couple of games, 5-0, it's going to be. I think they must have come together, had some conversations, and they I'm telling you, applauding each other with all the tackling, and they keep playing. And I think I do believe they're going to be okay.
Yeah. Just to let everyone know, we will be joined at the bottom of the hour by the national coach, Michael Finley, to talk about the 2 games coming up. We play Trinidad and Tobago at the Philadelphia Southfield Stadium at the National Sports Center on Friday. And then we travel to take on Jamaica in Jamaica on Tuesday. So we'll be joined by Michael Finley at the bottom of the hour. So now let's turn our attention to today. Obviously, we have PHC going down to Lords in St. David's to face a Crossroads team who, like I said earlier, last-minute win over Paget last week. They're coming in on a high, and Crossroads come away with a 3-0 victory over PHC. I'm pretty sure a lot of eyebrows would have been raised with the score line, but as Punchy, as you noted over and over again, Crossroads are a different team with the coach back in the field. Am I right?
Oh yeah, they're a different team. You're dealing with a whole different mentality now. The players, another team that the players put the work in, and they have more. I think I've seen them play 2 or 3 times. Of course, they've got finishers. That's one thing, but also. Of course, that scores a surprise. But also, The work rate they put in a lot of work rate for each other. Another team that everybody just plays. The ball gets up front. I just think that his coming back, the coach that they had, he comes back. He's just influenced them. His influence is on it, and everybody for me since I've seen Crossroads playing the practice match, everybody's bought in again to his philosophy. The work rate, the organization, which I do, which was quite apparent when I saw him, when I've seen him play.
Griff, let me jump to you real quick because obviously, PHC will be stunned by this result. What do you think?
I'm stunned too. But I want to ask though, like a lot of this, yes, is because the coach for Crossroads is a very good coach, and they're happy to have him back. But at the end of last season, because of the proximity of the teams and the familiarity with Hamilton Parish, how many players from Hamilton Parish did Crossroads pick up? Is that part of the difference?
I'm not sure how many they picked up.
Because looking at the first division schools, I think a lot of teams rated Hamilton Parish.
Well, yeah, I mean, or they allowed themselves to be rated. Mass Exodus.
Tomato.
Yeah, I don't think they needed too many people needed to influence them. They just yeah.
But normally it's not that many players when a team gets relegated that will lose.
Right. Yeah. And the results shared it today when we get to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's take our first commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk about the other two Premier Division matches that took place today. We'll be right back.
This September, refresh and reinvigorate with the finest sparkling waters. Maison Perrier, brought to you by John Barrett & Sons and available at Lindo's. Known for their commitment to quality, John Barrett & Sons proudly distributes Maison Perrier sparkling waters sourced from the purest springs to bring you a crisp, clean taste with every sip. Whether you're savoring the classic taste of natural spring water or exploring the vibrant notes of their flavored options. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
Beneath the clear blue sky, where the ocean meets the land, and the long-tails fly in Bermuda. Our hearts belong to this beautiful island. As an island, we are strong, proudly Bermudian. In every single way, from the sunrise to the sunset, in every single day, for over 135 years. It's been clear, it's silence, proudly Bermudian. Bringing us near. Cause we are proudly Bermudian. Digicel is proudly Bermudian. Digicel is proudly Bermudian.
You ever crack open a Coke and just... perfect.
It's that cold, classic hit that never lets you down.
Whether you're chilling with friends or just need a break, you can't go wrong with Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Nothing else compares.
Proudly distributed by Butterfield and Vallis.
And welcome back. Well, down at the Wellington Oval, it was St. George's Colts defeating the Boulevard Blazers 3-0. St. George's second game of the league season, with Boulevard playing their first game. As we know, their first game was not played due to BAA not being up to scratch right now against Devonshire Cougars. But no real, I mean, it was a scoreless first half, but I just think that Boulevard ran out of gas. They conceded in the 75th, 78th, and 86th minute. Your thoughts on that result there, Griff?
Well, I think I've seen a few Boulevard players, and they've assured me, they're going to be reckoned with this season. Don't count them out. So so far they've done nothing to prove us wrong. So it looks like they're going to struggle, and this result isn't a surprise to Boulevard. They're going to have to prove us wrong before we start believing.
Yeah. Punchy, your thoughts on the St. George's team? Still got a nucleus of players. Took a little while, but they got the better of Boulevard after losing to PHC 1-0 last week.
Yeah. With the young coach they have, Andrew's son.
Yeah,
I think to implement his ideas, to get people believing in what they want to do there. I saw the influence last year, the way they played, similar to Cougars on Friday night. That influence of passing game. That's a real good score for them. That's a real good win for them. We'll talk about Boulevard after, but I just think St. George's are going to be a force. I think they will. If they lost to PHC last week, 1-0 away from home, and they had their chances. I was told, but and they, so I think St. George's is going to be one of the. I wouldn't call them the dark horses. I think if they can start winning these games, in the way they play, they're gonna be right up there with Dennytown, and that's gonna be a test for them also, of course. But I see St. George's in line for silverware, and I still think they're going through stages of building of what they want to do and how they want to play.
Right. Yeah. I'm glad you brought up Dennytown because they went to Police Field and defeated the Devonshire Colts team coming in off a high of beating North Village last week, their first game at home this season. But Dennytown showed a little bit of what they've been able to do over the break. New coach. Just players playing and they're getting the results. When you look at a team like Dennytown, Punchy, what give us your assessment of them this early in the season?
I think from what I've seen thus far, again with I think Jerome Hayward, kudos to him, congratulations. He always keeps trying to keep. You can always hear him saying that keep your feet planted on the ground. This is still just the beginning of what we're trying to achieve. Well, he's doing pretty good thus far, isn't he?
Yeah.
With the results, again, there's still some chinks in his armor that he has to fix defensively, I think. But I saw against Social Club last week. But I think again, what's that? 9 points from 3 games.
No, there's only 2 games to play.
The 2 games, 6 points from 2. Yeah, from 2 games, 6 points from 2 games. I think by the time Christmas comes around, they'll still be leading the league. I am very sure of that.
Sure.
They help players. They have quality there with the additions that they have. But like I said, with Drew Hayward there, he was last year. He was with Kyle on his. That combination of coaches. But now it's him. And you can see his influence. You can definitely see his influence on how he wants to play.
Right.
But like I said, he would have to strengthen certain parts, especially at the back, when they don't have the ball, and how Social Club was easy to open them up last week. Or maybe just a lack of concentration by the players, or they felt like, we should be winning this game. But, still very interesting the way they play. They don't give the ball away that much.
Right.
They work hard as collectively. So I'm expecting them to be in contention for the league, also for, as you can see, the ceiling, the cups too.
Yeah. Griff, when we had Ray Jones with us last week, still smarting from that win on the Friday night over North Village, but now he had to kind of bring his players down to earth, and I guess that's where they ended up today, down to earth, because you're playing a different opponent, and your attitude has to be we haven't won anything yet. Will this be something that he can use to kind of bring, as Punchy said, put his players down on level ground?
I would think so. Like this, it seems like maybe I'm very surprised at the result that Danny Tom beat him by so much. I expected a draw. Maybe by the odd goal, one of them would have prevailed, but I didn't think that Danny Tom would win by two clear goals. So hats off. And maybe this is more about Danny Tom. They're going to be dominant this season, but they started out fast last year. So let's get through a month of the season and see if Danny Tom's still firing like this. But yeah, they have to be the early odds-on favorites with PHC losing. And I thought this would be a much more difficult game for them because normally Devonshire Colts is much more formidable at Police Field.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it wasn't the case. So perhaps you're right. Maybe this is a little letdown from last week. And I think the coach and the administration will draw that into the team. And I don't think they'll have any more significant letdowns like this for the rest of the season.
Mm. Well, before we're joined by the national coach, let's go into the first division because obviously Somerset welcomed Wolves up at Somerset Cricket Club and started the season with a 2-0 win. Actually, let's start with the Friday night match with Robin Hood beating Vasco 6-2, stamping their authority, letting everybody know that they want to go back to the Premier Division. They got 5 goals from Keishan Bean. He started off, remember last season, Punchy, with St. David and Griff, he started off with a bang. But then the second half of the season, goals were a struggle for him, but he knows where to find that net. What's your thoughts, early thoughts, Punchy, on Robin Hood?
Well, Keishan, first of all, Keishan Bean is always going to be, no matter he's up in age, but he's just one of good finisher as a center forward, old-fashioned center forward, good control, good first touch, and has an eye for goal. And he plays well back towards goal. He's just very, very technically sound. Right. He ain't got the legs like he used to. But he's just smart. Mm-hmm. The other thing, his decision to go play with Robin Hood, I had a conversation with Sergio Goda, and it's a good combination because he also helps out with coaching. Right. He's come across to learn more, and I think it's a good fit for both of them. For Sergio and Keisha, where they can bounce off one another. Of course, Keisha's gonna be playing more, but I think Robin Hood is with Sergio out there is going to be fine, and that's we're talking about Vasco da Gama too. I don't think there was much a fight there, much of quality. I didn't see the first game at all. I didn't see it, but I would be concerned that I let in 2 goals against Vasco da Gama if I was Robin Hood. But it's it's the first outing, so I just think that Robin Hood is going to be fine. I'm sure now. I asked Sergio with. So what are you going to do over there? What's your time? He says what we're trying to do is trying to build the club, with quality.
Right.
Our promotion is probably, on in the books to think about it, but I think more about it. It's going to build a quality team, hard to beat, real good understanding of one another, and I think Robin Hood's going to cause a few surprises. I think Robin Hood will be fine this year in that division. Very good. I'm sure that.
Griff, I was a bit concerned when I looked at the team sheets and I saw Vasco. I think he only had like 2 players on the bench at the start of the season. Would that be a concern for you?
Oh, most definitely. If you don't have 20 players now, which you're going to need by the time you get around to January, the dog days of the league, then you could probably end up forfeiting games in January and February if you don't have players now, unless you get some sort of late transfer. So if Vasco is going to be a mid to bottom team, this result, you have to take it with a grain of salt. And if Robin Hood is going to try to fight for promotion, I think they must make sure that they have more than Keishan. What Bunchy said is an experienced player, has the good mind, but along with that, it said his legs are not the same. So what's the likelihood of an older player making it through the season and also playing on that hard surface?
Yeah.
It's going to take some wear and tear, and they need to make sure they have more other people scoring goals other than Keishan.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're not going to make it.
Right. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take our second commercial break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by the senior men's national coach, Michael Finley. We'll be right back.
The pink sands beneath the clear blue sky, where the ocean meets the land, and the long-tails fly in Bermuda. Our hearts belong to this beautiful island. As an island, we are strong, proudly Bermudian. In every single way, from the sunrise to the sunset, and every single day, for over 135 years, it's been clear, Lady Silence, proudly Bermudian, bringing us near. Cause we are proudly Bermudian. Lady Silence, proudly Bermudian. Lady Silence, proudly Bermudian.
You ever crack open a Coke and just... perfect.
It's that cold, classic hit that never lets you down.
Whether you're chilling with friends or just need a break, you can't go wrong with Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Nothing else compares.
Proudly distributed by Butterfield and Vallis.
Wondering what life could be like with Drop It? Imagine more time to relax, recharge, and enjoy the little things, like floating stress-free while your groceries come to you. Don't let errands eat up your day. Drop It brings Lindo's groceries right to your doorstep while you do, well, whatever you want to do. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
And welcome back. Well, we want to welcome the head coach, Michael Finley. Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are we? I see we have,
Right.
we have the football brain trust of Bermuda in the room tonight.
I don't know about that.
I'm here more for comedy.
Well, Coach, we know we have the second round of the CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers coming up. We take on Trinidad at home on Friday, and then we travel to Jamaica. I've noted since the last round in September, we have several players that are in the squad that have had time off from their clubs. We've noted that Dale, who had just signed with a club, he hasn't been playing regularly. We noted that Kane Critchlow has been out for a while. We saw Keysai Martin was not in the team yesterday. Is there any concern that you have that our players are not playing as regularly as you would like them to?
Well, it's always a concern. Absolutely. You want all your players playing at the highest level possible and all the time. We're satisfied that they're in training, they're with clubs, so they're getting regular activity. But match play is obviously the critical piece. The flip side of the coin is, do they come in here over the last week a little fresher? That's a bit of a bonus. But in general, I would say that we always want our players playing as much as they can at the highest level they can on a regular basis. So we have to be very aware of that when it comes to team selections. We get a good idea of that when we do our initial review and testing as they come into camp. And then when we see them in the first two sessions, we get a pretty good idea where they are in terms of their activity level, because we track that. So, Kane's situation, for example, he's been carrying a small injury that kept him out. He probably could have played this weekend, I think, but I think that they still are sort of unsure of that. And they also were taking consideration that he was coming away on international duty. So that may have been a part of it, but we'll have that looked at when he gets here.
Obviously, a lot of pressure is on our opponent's head coach, Dwight York. Trinidad have been I guess, what to their standards, disappointing. So I think they have to come looking for a point. They have to come looking, well, actually 3 points. Does that set us up a little different, because they have to be wide open trying to get something positive out of Bermuda, to take some pressure off of not only himself but the team?
I think it'll make for a good football match. I'm sure. I can tell you that. In terms of our situation, from our tactical setup and thoughts, it doesn't change all that much. You look at your opponent and you evaluate the opponent and you look how you can best counter what they provide you. We have a plan, and right now we're sticking to that plan in terms of how we're going to set up and how we're going to address them. Hey, frankly, I'm really pleased that they're under pressure. That adds a little bit of weight on them. We also are carrying a certain amount of pressure because we're without a point. So if we're going to be one of these teams that is going to be hopefully playing in these types of competitions in the future on a more regular basis, we have to take some responsibility, and we have to understand the accountability factor. And we also have pressure to provide a result so we can continue to put ourselves in the mix for whatever the end result of qualifying looks like after November.
Sure. Punchy, you want to jump in?
Yeah, good to have you on, Coach. That was one of my questions I was going to ask you about the mental state of the players, knowing what position we're in now. A fickle Bermuda viewing public. What is your preparation mentally for these players for Friday night coming against Trinidad? Considering that what the position we're in.
Yeah.
What would you be asking your players for Friday night?
Well, I think first and foremost, we ask our players to continue to commit to the fight, and I think the one thing I can tell you that I've been, and I think I've said it before, even on this show, I've been really pleased, and the staff have been really pleased in the way the players have shown the ability to fight off certain scenarios that are presented to them, not to, as they say in sport, throw in the towel. They've been able to rebound. We've got, I think this is other than the Honduras game, this is the first time we've sort of lost back-to-back games. Yes, it's against opponents that are higher ranked than us, but still, you don't like to do that, obviously. But they've always seemed to rebound. We've always provided the atmosphere of fear-free play. We want courage and bravery, and we want that sort of fighting mentality to sort of be the basis of how we address our game. And because if you win that first battle, there's going to be a really good chance you're going to win the second battle, which is more the technical side of it. So I think right after the Curacao game, you can only imagine, they were down, as was the staff, and we were disappointed because we thought, even with the slow start that we had, and which was very disappointing, we again rebounded. We made a few alterations and changes. The players saw where the opportunities were. We shifted our tactical position, and I thought we probably should have had a point, and we would have been happy with that coming out of there. Not having one was disappointed, and the players were very disappointed. But again, they have to also realize that the steps they've made to put us in this position, and I think that's one of the things mentally they have to continue to do. They have to focus on the details, they have to focus on execution, and they have to know that you win, lose, or draw, you got to get up the next day, and the journey continues.
Yeah, I'll come back to you, Punchy. Griff, you got a question?
Yeah, after the Jamaica game in Bermuda, Punchy and I hung around and watched the interviews with yourself and Steve McLaren and the players, and we remarked that it was, especially with Nicky, it was a very professional interview. He was very gracious, patient, despite taking like a big loss. He sat there, took blame, responsibility for everything, and he handled them. And then we went to Jamaica. They had their interview. Part of it what hit us looking at, we said that just so the difference in size between the two countries, we know that Steve McLaren didn't come for $50,000 or $100,000. So they paid a lot of money to get in. And then when they interrupted his interview to say, hey, look, we got to speed it up, wrap it up, because we have to get to the airport. So I said, well, our airport's closed. Where are you going? We have a private charter. We're out of here tonight. We'll be back in Jamaica tonight. Oh, wow. So it shows the money that they put in there that we just don't have. You want to speak to that?
Yeah, I mean, that's the reality of smaller MAs in any confederation of FIFA. But let's talk CONCACAF, because that's where we live and play and breathe. The Bermudan Football Association, from my position, has done everything that I've asked of them within reason, and they are 100% in support and committed to supporting all their national teams the best way they can, given the fiscal realities of a smaller MA. Jamaica, you just pointed it out, Andrew, there, that the fact remains is that Jamaica, over the years, they've been to a World Cup, they've been to multiple Gold Cups. There is a lot of investment in the game there. They have a full-time professional league. Their players are playing, all over the world. And that drives revenues, and that drives interest, that drives sponsorships, that drives the opportunity to spend the money on things like, as you just said, charter flights in and out of the country to benefit the players. We look to the day that we're a national team like that and be able to benefit from that. But the only way we do that is to have more success at this level. We're not going to kid ourselves at this moment in time, and neither is the BFA or the leadership of the BFA. They are working within a fiscal structure at doing what they can to make sure all our national teams are treated and supported in the best possible way.
Punchy, I'll come back to you.
Yes, Coach. Question I want to ask. I've watched a couple of the games a couple of times that we even the one against Curacao, and especially in Jamaica. In both of those games, at times, Bermuda has definitely had chances to score. You've been in the game, especially second half against Jamaica. First 15 minutes of the second half, I thought we should have been 2-0. But in reality of it all, we're still giving up goals, which I'm sure, as you've spoken about more and more, is a lack of concentration, or from our defense's perspective, or even the last goal, the goal against Curacao, that I thought at the time, the way the individual display by the second goal by Bermuda, but still it seems that there's still quality needed. Or what do you think is really still wrong with us? Because do we have the lapses of concentration, especially defensively wise? Because I think the first goal against Jamaica was after the 10th minute, I do believe.
Yeah, I think what you can say, you can sort of encapsulate your comments and your question with really one word, and that's execution. And execution, I'll use your example exactly, because quite frankly, we use the same example. So maybe you're sitting in the room with us and we don't know there. So we got to check. We got to check the room, Earl. We got to see who's sitting there.
No, we got a microphone in there.
Exactly. Yeah. Spygate. No, but you're absolutely right, Gary, because in the Jamaica game in the second half, in the first half, the two goals that we lost were goals that one of them I would have said we shouldn't have lost, and that was the first one. There was mistakes. It was a bit of a scramble, but there was a mistake in the sense that we didn't shut down. We should have denied the cross. The ball shouldn't have been in the box at that point anyway. And the reason that we had they had a corner is that we didn't deal with a direct ball over the top into that shadow space, and we had to release pressure, and it's a corner. Whereas if we deal with that ball first, none of that happens. So it's sort of a domino effect. And then you go into the second half, and you're right, we had two great chances, Reggie, Kane, and we did not execute in the places that we needed to execute. And they're keenly aware of this. The players are, as is the staff, and we talk about it all the time. It's one of our last, sort of discussions and slides in our presentation. We talk about execution and bearing down on that. That comes with time. That comes with more match play. That comes with more opportunities like that. But at the end of the day, it's competency and it's confidence and it's an execution scenario. The idea of losing goals always upsets anybody, especially the coach, because you always like to keep a clean sheet. But I also am very keenly aware that it's very easy to look at our defenders in this situation, but in a number of scenarios, we should have denied the first action farther up the pitch before it gets even closer to the goal. So it's a team effort in that regard, and we've got to mature. Because, for example, against Jamaica, I thought one of the things that we lacked is a bit of an understanding of the dark arts of football. There was a couple of situations there where I think we could have professionally fouled to deny the forward movement and progress, and we didn't, because guess what? We fought them, and we tried to fight them, and let's be perfectly frank, they were a very physical team, both from a pace point of view, but also from an overall strength and size point of view, and it was very difficult for us. So those are the things that I think our players are learning, and I think they are going to be in a better position in the future if they're able to apply that scenario. But there's no doubt we have to make sure that we're solid, we don't give up easy goals, and as I say, I think it encapsulates on execution in the forward position, but also execution on our defending responsibilities.
Sure. Griff, got another one?
Yeah. We all have, because of the size of our area and the familiarity, we all have friends in Trinidad, Jamaica, and we have our banter going back and forth, and they say what they're going to do to us. And okay, I said, you know what? Bermuda may not qualify, but I'll tell you what, we're going to have a say in who goes to the World Cup, and you better be careful. And I think some of that pressure was on Curacao. They were having to press after the 4-goal difference that Jamaica had. So they said, look, we have to do that. And they feel that needs to go forward, and it's going to create opportunities for us. Do you think that Trinidad will feel similar pressure to get a result, so that even if they don't win the group, that they could be better placed to be the best second place team?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I go back to your first comment first is you're in it till you're not, and there's 12 points on the board, and I wouldn't be doing my job. The staff wouldn't be doing their job, and the players wouldn't be doing their job if we don't position ourselves in knowing that 12 points puts us in a very good position. So we always have to look, if you're working in football in smaller MA and in the CONCACAF region, if you are not an optimist, you're in trouble. So we optimistically feel where we are is we have another chance to not just put points on the board, but another chance to grow and with this experience and put ourselves in a better position. As I say, the long-term goal is to be these types of conversations have to be happening in every cycle, whether it's a World Cup cycle, a Gold Cup cycle, a Nations League cycle. We need to have these types of discussions, which means you're in games that mean something, right? So from that point of view, I think we have to put our best foot forward. In relationship to your question, we're more than happy to spoil anybody's party, because I haven't felt at this moment in time any disrespect from our opponents. They've been very professional and, quite frankly, have been quite I think favorable in terms of what they saw. I firmly believe, gentlemen, that both Jamaica and both Curacao probably were not expecting what they got from Bermuda. I think, as I told you, I think in an interview a while ago, I was watching the press as we got drawn into this group, and watching Trinidad, watching Curacao, having to translate it out of Dutch, seeing Jamaica. They weren't even mentioning Bermuda. So they in the beginning really felt, I think, that we were not going to be part of this. And at the end of the day, and having discussions with both Steve McLaren and Dick Advocat after the games, they were very impressed with the team's performance, their fight, the qualities that they showed. So you know what, you're in it till you're not, and I think from our point of view, our main goal here is first and foremost is to get points on the board here against Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, real quick, Coach. Was there an opportunity? I know Kenny has stepped away for this round, but was there an opportunity to have a kind of reward a local coach to help work with the squad?
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult situation because it was such a short turnaround. And let me tell you, I think it's proven by the fact that I have Kenny and JB in our staff from the very beginning, that my goal here is to make sure that we grow organically as it relates to a technical staff. So I'm 100% in support of Bermudians coaching Bermudians. I want to make that very clear. It was a really short window, Earl, that we had to have somebody who is at least close to us. And Jake has been doing some stuff on the side for us in terms of from an analyst point of view, as he does his work as the embedded FIFA coach with the academy program BFA. So that was the easy choice at this moment in time. And that's really why we went through that. It's no disrespect to anybody who we may look at in the future who would be in that position, because I firmly believe that is a very important part of our program, is to start seeing more and more Bermudian coaches taking positions in our national team that mirror some of the work that we're doing at the senior level.
Country, last one.
Yes, Coach. Again, the viewing the public on Friday night. Like I said, everybody, I get around talking to a lot of Bermuda people. They said at one time or another, going back some years ago, even when I was playing, I was told that you make sure that we be hard to beat in our own country. Be very hard to beat. I do hope the public comes out again and support at least what we're trying, because again, and like I said, as I viewed both of those games going over, it seems that there's a lot that we've taken a lot of good steps.
Yeah,
we have taken a lot of good steps. Yes, we have. Considering for such a small country, but what do you think? Also, what most people are saying to us again, that mentality of being hard to beat. Being hard to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, in any international football, it's sort of like, it's always written in stone that you need to win your home games. And not winning at home always annoys me. And we've had a relatively a good record going forward here, not against some of the teams that are ranked higher than us. But the reality is, first and foremost, I want to go back. I want to make sure whoever's listening, the crowd against Jamaica was outstanding. I mean, it was like that. They brought it, and they brought it really, really well. And the players felt it. The staff felt it. We were incredibly proud of the whole idea of how they presented themselves, and we were really, really pleased and proud to be playing for them. And I'm hopeful that they will do the same thing on Friday night. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they do, and they continue to support us in the way they've always done. And I think that's very important. In terms of us, we try to instill in the players, look, you're at home, you have to protect your house. You don't want people coming in your house uninvited and doing damage. So why would you do it at the football pitch? So they do have that mentality, and I agree with you. It's easy for me to say this, but it's true. We've made a lot of great steps with the assistance of a lot of good people, and hopefully these steps continue. And I think the one thing for sure is we're starting to put down a real foundation for some of the future that is going to be very relevant here in the next little while. You're going to see a number of players that you're going to start talking about that are starting to mature in the markets that they play in. And it's really important that you have a foundation to build from that. And also you have a group of players currently that I think have made incredible strides, and they are displaying it in every performance. We're just not getting the results that I think we sometimes maybe deserve, but sometimes we may not deserve either.
Yeah. Griff?
Yeah, one last little thing. I just want to know if you're going to step up your fashion profile on Friday. Will you be wearing a pink blazer? And do you need me to make some calls to put it up for you?
I gotta listen. All kidding aside, I got asked that in an interview in Canada, and they asked me about, we noticed you weren't wearing any pink trousers, or you weren't doing this and that. So I think I'm going to be pretty sort of neutral, as I have been in the past. I'm not wearing any famous designer at this moment in time.
Well, Coach, this is a social media world, Coach. Come on, you got to get.
All of a sudden, now we're going to have all these. Hey, you can wear this. You can wear that. Don't judge. Listen, I buy any more clothes, my wife's going to leave me. I'm going to clothes for us. You better be careful.
Well, Coach, let us say that we want to wish you and the team all the best on Friday night and on Tuesday night. We have, like you said, there's 12 points up for grabs, but we have to start with the first 3 on Friday night. If the boys put in the work this week and, ask themselves to give everything that they can, as with the crowd, we'll do the same thing on Friday night. I think we can come out with a positive result. So all the best on Friday night and again on Tuesday.
Well, I appreciate that. Always a pleasure to talk to you, gentlemen. And as I said in the past, I can assure you one thing, and that is these players care. They come ready to play. They definitely put their best foot forward, and they understand what's on the line, and they want to fight for Bermuda and Bermudian fans and Bermudian football to lay the foundation here. So yeah, we're looking forward to it, and I hope the crowd looks forward to it too, because it's always great to have international football on the island. It's really important to the culture of the game and the young people who hopefully will come through one day and be playing for Bermuda in the next rounds.
All right. Well, we're going to take another commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to go back to that first division, and we'll have our picks for that. Thank you very much, Coach. We'll see you on Friday night.
See you later, guys. Take care. All the best.
You ever crack open a Coke and just perfect?
It's that cold, classic hit that never lets you down.
Whether you're chilling with friends or just need a break, you can't go wrong with Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Nothing else compares.
Proudly distributed by Butterfield and Vallis.
When it comes to tuna, why not choose Bermuda's Best? Bermuda's Best tuna delivers that classic ocean fresh taste, perfect for sandwiches, salads, and all your go-to favorites. High in protein, low in fuss, it's a pantry essential that's proudly Bermudian. Grab a can or a few next time you're at Lindo's. Bermuda's Best tuna, local, reliable, and delicious. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Beneath the cloud blue sky, where the ocean meets the line, and the long tails fly in Bermuda. Our hearts belong to this beautiful island. As an island, we are strong, proudly Bermudian. In every single way, from the sunrise to the sunset, and every single day for over 135 years. It's been clear, it's silence, proudly Bermudian. Bringing us near. Cause we are proudly Bermudian. Digital is proudly Bermudian. Digital is proudly Bermudian.
And welcome back. Well, let's get back into the first division, because today up at the Somerset Cricket Club, Somerset Trojans welcomed Wolves and came away with a 2-0 win. Goals in the second half of the match. Your thoughts on Punchy? Your thoughts on Wolves, because they got relegated. A mixture of players, but your thoughts them traveling to Somerset and coming up on the wrong end.
I figured. I think. I do believe that I picked Somerset to win this one, because of course the reconstruction effort that's going on. I call it the rehab. It's rehabilitation up there in terms of what they want to go through. Kenny back up there. You're gonna see a resurgence of Somerset football again. But with Wolves, I think we're gonna have the same problem with Wolves again. And Griff, just organization. Somebody who's in charge of that team knows what to do with those players. Who knows what to do with the group of players. Again, they're close to my neighborhood. I go watch them, and I still don't think they're in the right frame of mind. What they really want to achieve there. That's my pet peeve with them. That I just don't think that we're gonna see. They will, a game like that, they'll lose. A game against, let's see, Robin Hood's gonna be a difficult game. I can name them. So I just think that Wolves are in a predicament that I thought they will be in once they were demoted.
Griff, your thoughts on Somerset Trojans? Obviously, they'll be one of the teams looking for promotion. Your thoughts on them?
Well, that's what we thought last year, that they would be one of the teams up in the top, and they were near, but halfway through the season, it became obvious that they were not going to get promoted. So, beating the team, I think Wolves will still be in it this year. So it probably is a good win for them. But which is it? Is it that Wolves are a little bit depleted and still a little shell shocked from relegation, or is it that Somerset is better? It's too early to tell. But it's a good. Somerset should win at home. So it is expected. I was a bit on the fence in this game last week we were choosing, but in the end, I picked Somerset at home. They should win, and they did it. So not that shocking.
Yeah. Then let's go down to Lords, right around the opposite end of the island, where St. David's went down 1-0 to Somerset Eagles. Griff, we all looked and figured, St. David's will come out of the blocks. But Somerset Eagles had a different opinion. Came away with a 1-0 win. Your thoughts on Somerset Eagles?
Eagles were pretty good last year. I think they got stronger as the year progressed, but they had already made the mistakes, so they weren't any reckoning. Rather, they'll be a strong team this year. They're gonna have to play some of the top teams before we figure out if they're for real. St. David's is losing nose. They started out hot last year. They're definitely gonna be in trouble after Christmas. So we have to keep an eye on St. David's to see what they're gonna do.
Yeah. Punchy, were you surprised by this result for St. David's, as they usually get a good start?
Yeah, it was surprising. But of course, Keyshawn Bean is going to be a huge miss for them, just his presence. But I was surprised about that score. Somerset Eagles, there's another club that we were kind of writing off in terms of winding down in terms of its football and capabilities in the next couple of years. But who they go down St. David's and win? And so that will be a question of what is St. David's really like. So really surprising score, really surprising. Yeah. And again, what will Somerset Eagles bring to the table against the better teams? This will be a good question. Yeah. This will be a good question once we see this. Once they're up against the Somersets or they're up against Robin Hood, away from home. It's going to be a good question.
Yeah. I'm going to come right back to you, Punchy, because the last First Division game, Southampton Rangers put 15 past a Hamilton Parish team. Hamilton Parish had a total of 12 players. As Griff indicated already, a lot of the players left when they got relegated. But losing 15-0 on your opening day and only 12 players. You started Nigel Burgess, their goalkeeper, started out on the field. Nothing good. Punchy, your thoughts on Hamilton Parish, man?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up too, Earl. The goalkeeper started on the field, which is also an indication of whether they're in a complete, I won't call it a mess. They're in a complete overall of what they want. And that started a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. I always thought that they were going to be in problems a couple of years ago. And now in the papers this weekend, you've got I think it's Nigel Burgess. I think it is. Yeah, speaking about his wanting to the resurgence of Hamilton Parish. Hold on, and it's going to take much longer. First of all, who's going to want to go down and play? Who's going to want to go play for Hamilton Parish? And it's going to start getting that way with certain teams. In and out. I mean, Sergio Aguero was there for 4 years, 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, something like that.
It kind of reminds me of well, the dedication of players. I think one thing I faced at St. Davis when I finally, it's like how far do they really want to go in commitment? I think that's the reality of Hamilton Parish. It's going to take some time. I think what they should be doing also now again is revitalizing the junior programs, because you remember you always read about Hamilton Parish before a couple of years ago, taking teams away, playing in tournaments. I don't know if that's still happening now.
I don't know if they have a youth program like that anymore.
But I thought
Griff.
Hamilton Parish was also doing well in the Kappa, so they had teams that were participating, and they had a lot of community involvement. Parents, like it seemed like a good watch. So I find it strange now they're starting the season with just 12 players. Like, and if one of them is over 40, that's not good. So what happens now? Because let's face it, it's generation long. They don't take adversity well. So if you take 15 today, are you necessarily showing up to training this week? So do they show up next weekend with 8 players? Like this is not good for them. So and if you start defaulting games in October, November, that's bad for football.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I saw that they were giving a youngster an opportunity to play in girl, but you're down 10-0 at halftime. Where do you look? So obviously Nigel goes back into girl. They play the goalkeeper now comes out on the field. I just think they're in for a very long season if they last the season. Like you've indicated, if you don't have enough players right now, and the way the mindset is of players today, I'm not taking 15 today, and then I'm coming back to take 15 next week. And you still want me to train? I ain't sure about that. But it's the position that they find themselves in, but only they can get themselves out of the position that they're in and figure it out because they're in it. So wish them all the best.
Maybe you get the opposite result. Somebody in the community that's not been training or been away, they say, hey, not my club. My club's not getting smacked around like this. I better go out and help out or do something, or play, or coach, or be an assistant. So maybe they have that effect.
Yeah, something of that nature. You want to add something, Punchy?
I think we guys have spoken about this since last year about the demise of some clubs that we've known who have been pretty good in terms of the structure, recruitment, and about management, and about how do you go out and you have to decide. I think that's what Robin Hood have decided. Look, we're going to recruit. We're going to get somebody like Keyshawn come on board. This is what we're attempting to do. With Parish, and who else can be going and start pointing? We were talking about how we would talk also about Sunset Eagles. What could possibly happen to these clubs in another 3 or 4 years? What could possibly where's the growth? And I see it happening to a couple other clubs. I'm surprised by the Island Rangers, but I see it happening. It seems like it's the writing's on the wall for Hamilton Parish. It seems that way to me. Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, let's get into the good part of the show. Our picks from last week. So we start off with the match between Devonshire Cougars and North Village. We all, including Ray Jones, took Cougars, and we know that ended in a draw. Then
I did say I wanted to take the draw, right?
You might have said that, but then you picked Cougars.
Yeah, gambling is for fools. Just like everybody.
And then it was Social Club against Paget. I took Paget, Punchy took Social Club, Griff took Paget, and Ray picked a draw. So Ray was the only one that got that right. Then it was St. George's versus Boulevard. We all took St. George's. Yes. And then Devonshire Colts versus Dandytown Hornets. I took Dandytown, Punchy took Colts, and Griff, you took a draw.
Yes.
And of course,
One
Ray
week.
could not pick
Couldn't
in
pick.
that. Yeah.
He would have picked Colts.
Yeah. Then we go to
Crossroads.
the Crossroads PHC match,
PC. Yep.
and we all took PHC,
Yes.
but it was Crossroads who got the victory. Then we turn to the first division, Vasco and Robin Hood. We all took Robin Hood, and Robin Hood got the win. Hamilton Parish and Southampton Rangers, we all took Southampton Rangers, and we know that was 15-love. St. David's versus Eagles. Everybody took St. David's except Ray. Ray took a draw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Nobody wins.
nobody wins in that regard. And then Trojans versus Wolves, and we all took Trojans except Ray. Ray took Wolves.
He comes back to us. So that be any leader?
Yes. Yes. So at the end of the day, I got 5, and the other three got 4. So coming in from our last week where everybody got 2, I'm on 7, Punch is on 6, and you, Griff, are on 6. So now, next week is the FA Cup preliminary round, and the BFA had a draw. And very interesting. I don't know this particular team, but they're called Island Bulls, will take on Hamilton Parish. I'm gonna go first, and I'm gonna take the Bulls because I've seen what Hamilton Parish can do. And Punchy,
I'm gonna take Island Wolves too.
Bulls.
Griff.
Hey, I'm getting Bulls too.
It just sounds like maybe a spin-off from is the spin-off from the Wolves itself, all the guys, or that could
These
be
are
it.
Bulls. These are Bulls.
Bulls.
Oh, Bulls, Island Bulls. I'll go with
Yeah.
them anyway. I think they're gonna
Yeah.
be Hamilton Parish.
Yeah. Okay, so another first division, all first division round up. Southampton Rangers are entertaining Robin Hood up at Southampton Oval. Punchy, you're up.
Oh, well. I'm gonna go with Robin Hood on that.
Okay. Griff? And remember, it's FA Cup.
This guy, hey, you can pick the draw. I think Rangers got drunk on them 15 girls. I'm getting Robin Hood.
I'm gonna go with Robin Hood as well. Just a little more organized. Although Rangers scored 15, I'm just gonna. I think they'll edge it out. Okay.
Next week they're gonna be begging for one of those 15 girls.
Yeah.
All right. So the rest of the matches have a Corona League team taking on a First Division team. So Griff, you're first up. FC Rhinos versus Wolves.
Rhinos, Wolves. What did Wolves do this week?
Wolves lost 2-0 to Somerset.
Yeah, I'm getting Wolves.
Okay. I was hoping you wouldn't go Wolves so we could do something different. But I'm going to go with Wolves as well. Punchy?
I'm gonna go with Wolves. I'm on you guys' side with that. I'm gonna go with Wolves for that.
Okay. The next match is Somerset Eagles versus Inter Bermuda. And Eagles are at home, so I'm going to take Somerset Eagles. Punchy?
Somerset Eagles.
And Griff.
Yeah, clean sweep, Eagles.
Okay, Punchy, you're up. Somerset Trojans versus Terrace Onions.
Oh, Somerset Trojans on that.
Griff,
Trojans. Hey, where's that game?
up at Somerset.
That'll be something. Yeah.
Trojans by a lot.
And Griff, you are the last one with this. St. David's are to face Young Guns down at Lord's.
What the hell? You gotta go for one upset. Young Guns.
Oh man, I should have gone first. I should have gone first because I was taking the Guns to beat St. David's. Punchy?
You know how it works, listeners? Earl rigs the little thing.
I'm gonna take them Young Guns to beat St. David's, man. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the thing is, all of us have the same picks for this week.
All right. Well, hey, let's just hope that we get them all wrong.
if we get them all wrong, there's a
Wow.
lot of commercial Corona League teams in the next round draw. So that'll be interesting.
That'll be very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, so these games go to extra time or replay?
Straight. Well, before these ones went to a replay, I'm not sure. I would have to find out.
Okay.
Okay. But I'm gonna. I think
that adds to the drama. That's to start picking out which games to go and see in case they get dramatic and.
Well, it's a doubleheader up at Rangers, and the rest of the games, I believe, are single. Let me just make sure. White Hills, Somerset, and St. David's. Yeah, it's a doubleheader. Rhinos and Wolves at 12:30, and then Rangers and Robin Hood at 2. And that's on Sunday. The Bulls Parish match is scheduled to take place on Saturday night, the night after Bermuda play. Yeah. So, folks, more than likely we will be at the National Sports Center on Friday for a pregame show between Bermuda and Trinidad. Stay tuned. We will be coming on approximately 5:50 for the pregame show of the international match between Bermuda and Trinidad. So look out for us. We'll bring you the lineups and whatever else has happened throughout the week regarding the national team. So, guys, thank you very much for joining. We'll be back next week, Sunday, with another edition of the IslandStats.com football show. Enjoy your night.
Later.
Take care, guys.